Hello friends! This is going to be a very, very exciting video because I am making my Canadian best friend a custom American Girl doll. So my friend Jen, who is a YouTuber, and I will link her channels down below, she is the most thoughtful and sweet and creative friend, and she knows that I'm obsessed with American Girl, as you can see, but she knows that I love American Girl, so she decided to take it upon herself to make me a completely custom American Girl doll that looks like me and is wearing a really cute Bridgerton-inspired dress, which I made a whole video about, and I will also link down below. But it was just so sweet of her, and I was like, oh my god, I want to make you a doll now. So that's where this is kind of inspired from. Obviously, Jen is Canadian, so she doesn't have the same emotional connection to American Girl as I do, but I really, really want to do this, mainly because I'm excited about it, so I'm kind of forcing this gift on her. But isn't that what you do when you have friends, is just force your love onto them, really? I know she's gonna love it though, so yes, I'm very, very excited about everything that I'm going to make her. Basically, I am going to get a doll that looks like her and then create a ton of outfits based off of her very niche interests, which I love that. She loves a bunch of different things like me. She collects a bunch of different things. So it's gonna be really, really fun to make her a bunch of custom outfits. Then in 6 months, I am going to Canada to give it to her in person. I've never been to Canada and I've never met her in person because we became YouTube friends, and then we basically became really close during the pandemic because we would play Animal Crossing together, and now we're best friends. Also, can I just say that my mental health is not great, okay? I do not like the orange man. I actually really hate him, so sorry if you love him, but I don't like him at all, and my mental health is not great, and I'm actually kind of depressed. So this project is really, I think, going to help me mentally, because I haven't been this excited about a creative project in a really, really long time. So come with me on this journey. So this is the doll that I got her to be little Jen. This is Truly Me 25, I believe, and she has black hair and brown eyes, and she has white skin. Now, it is actually kind of hard to find a doll with black hair and brown eyes with white skin, but luckily American Girl has at least, I think, 2 of them, maybe 3, I don't remember, but this was the doll that looked closest like Jen, and I'm very, very happy with her. I think she's super adorable to the point where I'm actually like, should I get one of these for myself? But she is in pretty good condition. She is a little bit loose, so I am probably going to have to restring her. But other than that, I think she's pretty good. Her hair is in great condition. I made sure to get a doll that had good hair. Miss Jen is very loose. Her legs are very, very bad right now. So I'm going to restring her so that she can properly stand up, because right now her legs are too jiggly to stand. So I'm going to show you how I restring dolls. Okay, so I'm basically going to talk you through how I restring an American Girl doll. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove the legs and the arms. You want to do this while the doll is still put together, because if you don't do this, it's really actually easy to cut the body material, because I've done it before. So you're gonna cut the arms and legs off. Then we're going to untie the string in the back that's holding her head on. I had to use tweezers. Then we're gonna decapitate her. Hello. I use forceps for this process, which helps a lot. And I'm going to use the forceps to basically get the end of the string out of the arms and the legs. You just kind of have to wiggle it out of there because it's going to usually have a knot on it. This is my replacement elastic that I bought. So I'm just going to cut some pieces off. Usually about 4 or 5 inches is what I do. Then you're going to need some copper ferrules. Ferrules? I actually don't remember how you say it. But they're like little metal tubes, basically. And then you're going to need some wire strippers or pliers or something to basically crush that tube onto the elastic to hold it there. So for each of the elastic pieces, I'm just going to crimp the copper ferrule onto the elastic. Now the fun part is threading this elastic back through. So you basically have to shake the arm and leg so that the cup in there is facing down, and then you put one end in, and then you have to use your forceps to dig around in there, grab the end, and then pull it out so that the copper piece is inside, if that makes sense. It can be a little tricky, especially on the arms, because it's not a lot of room to work with. But it should look like this. And you're gonna do that for all 4 limbs. Then I have to take out all the stuffing from the body. I always put this in a bag so I don't lose it. And for some reason, I can never get the same amount of stuffing back in the doll that I took out. I don't know what kind of wizardry that is. I don't know if they just have a way that they shove it in really good. I don't know. You're gonna find some cups in there. Then we're gonna restring the limbs by sticking the elastic through the hole. Then you're gonna grab your little cup, put it on the string, and then you're gonna add another copper ferrule. You're gonna wanna pull this as tightly as possible and then use your forceps to kind of hold it in place and then crimp it. And then you just cut off the excess. Now her limbs are nice and tight. Then we're gonna fill her back up with the filling, tie her head back on, and she's good as new. The first outfit I wanna make for Jen is based off of the show, The Big Comfy Couch. And I didn't watch this show, so I don't really know a whole lot about it. All I know about it is literally from Jen and researching the show for this outfit. But basically the main character is Lunette, and Jen is obsessed with Lunette. I think she's obsessed with the whole show, but she loves Lunette. She's actually cosplayed as Lunette. She's met the actress Allison Court who plays Lunette. She has a Lunette doll signed by the actress who played Lunette. So she absolutely loves Lunette. So because she already has the doll, I'm not going to try to exactly replicate the outfit. Also because I can't find her little overalls, and I'm gonna have to make something similar, and I don't really sew clothes very well. So I'm going to be basically making like a cosplay of Lunette's outfit. Also she has like a hat with like holes in it and her hair comes out of the hat. I kind of don't want to do that, especially because the doll's hair is not like curly like Lunette's hair. So we're just gonna do a regular hat. But I basically am gonna, this outfit's gonna be kind of a love letter to the Big Comfy Couch. It's gonna be inspired by it. So instead of doing overalls, I wanna make like an overall dress because I think it'd be easier to sew it. I did find the leggings on Etsy. So I found striped black and white like tights. I had some shoes that are pretty close to the shoes. So I need to make the shirt and the dress, and I'm gonna make a hat. And my idea for the hat is basically to get Courtney's hat and paint it, which is gonna be kind of painful, but it's okay because it's for Jen. And then I think I'm gonna put like stuff on the hat that kind of represents the show. And then I'm also going to be making Lunette. Well, I don't know if it's Lunette's doll. I don't watch the show, but there's a doll in the show named Molly. And so I'm gonna make a miniature Molly that's going to be as if it's a doll for the doll, if that makes sense. It's dollception. It's dollception. I am going to buy a pink long sleeve shirt and I'm going to iron on. There's like a pattern on the shirt. They're like little like moons or something. I'm not really sure. Little faces. So I'm going to iron those on to the shirt. And then the biggest obstacle is going to be making this little dress thing because I do not make clothes very well. And so we're going to experience this together. So I printed off the little faces that I designed on some iron-on transfer paper, and I cut those out. And when I was doing this, I hadn't done iron-ons in a while, so I didn't do them for long enough, and they looked like garbage on the front. So please ignore the front. The back is much better, but this is what it looks like all done. It looks god-awful on the bottom, so again, we're going to ignore that. The back looks great, I think. I should have started with the back. Then I'm going to use some textile medium to mix with acrylic paint to make it into fabric paint. I didn't think that this worked very well. I don't think it really turned it into fabric paint, so I don't know what I was doing wrong because that's what this is supposed to do. But it ended up just being basically acrylic paint, but I just painted the trim of the shirt to match Lunette's shirt. Okay, this is the shirt done. The front is definitely not great, but the bottom part's going to be kind of covered anyways. I painted the edges with acrylic paint mixed with the like fabric medium. I probably didn't add enough of the fabric medium because it's still kind of stiff, but I'm hoping that it will be fine. The back looks great, so I should have just done the back first as like the practice. So Jen, just look at the back and use that as your standard. Also, I don't know what happened, but as I was ironing these on, some of it like transferred to my ironing board, and now I'm scared to use my ironing board because I don't know if the heat's gonna make it like transfer to whatever I am ironing. So that's just an issue that I have now, but I'm pretty happy with the shirt. I did get a little bit of paint here, so just ignore that. But I think it's pretty cute. I put it on the doll to see, and it looks pretty cute, so I like it. So this was the first outfit that I made for the doll, and I was so excited and happy to make this that I kind of rushed. So this was my very first attempt at making the outfit, and it looks really garbage. I wanted to sew it by hand because I was too lazy to get my sewing machine out, and it didn't really work out super great. Okay, so she's wearing the shirt I made, and then I bought these tights on Etsy. I finished hand sewing the little dress, but it's actually too tight, and it was kind of hard to get on her, and it was like ripping because I didn't sew it very well. So I decided that I'm going to start over, and because I know I can make it better. I might try to make it all in one piece with Velcro on the back. But this means I need to break out my sewing machine, which I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to do because I was a little lazy. But that's how much I love you, Jen, that I'm going to crawl into my messy closet and get out my sewing machine that's way back over there, and then clean up my dirty desk so that I can sew. Because I love you, Jen. I have this American Girl jumper that I'm using as a template. I actually thought about using this as a template before, but I was like, this one's too big and blah, blah, blah. I made up all these excuses why I didn't want to use it, and then what happened? The one I made was too small. So we're just going to use this as a template because I know that this fits an American Girl. So, yeah. So this is what happens when I use a sewing machine. It looks really, really bad, and I shouldn't have used this pink thread. On the purple, the problem is that I bought some bias tape that would be easier, but the bias tape is a darker shade of purple, and this purple matches perfectly to the shirt. So it's either I keep trying to use this, and it looks really, like, god-awful, or I use the slightly darker one and maybe it would look a little better. I'm kind of torn on what I want to do. I had a lot of different issues with the bias tape. I really wanted the color of the purple to match the shirt, but then the only ones I could find were really thick. So I bought this really thick bias tape, and when I sewed it, I like completely missed it for some reason. I just was really struggling with this. So that's going to be the back, and we're just going to use this as the front because it looks better. Okay. Then I made some straps. So these are the straps. I'm going to iron them down and sew them. Sewing the straps to the dress as well as this extra piece of fabric. So basically I can turn it inside out and it will look nice and clean. So I originally wanted this to be a dress because I just thought that would be easier and cuter. But I made it longer than I intentioned because I kind of wanted it to be like a shorter skirt. And this is kind of bigger than I thought, so now I'm wondering if I actually just make it shorts. I mean, they can't go super high in the crotch, but I could at least kind of make them look like shorts, so now I don't know what to do. Okay, so the little jumper is done. I feel like I kind of ruined it by making it into shorts because she's having a really bad case of camel toe right now. And I don't really know how to fix it, and I feel like I kind of ruined it, so I don't know if I can fix it. I think I just went too high into her crotch, which is what I was worried about. Here's the back. I did put on a little Velcro. It looks better in the back, but yeah. So we're just not gonna judge the tightness of her crotch. So the more I was looking at it, the more I was not happy with the camel toe situation. And basically what I did is I just cut a slit in the dress and then I just sewed it. And I think that that's the issue, is because I should have basically made more of like space here, I'm really scared of ruining these, and I really don't want to mess them up, but I just really don't like how they look. So I'm gonna try to fix it and hope I don't ruin it. So I tried to fix the crotch. I don't really think I fixed it a whole lot. It definitely looks better in here. There's less kind of extra space in there. I'm not super happy with how it looks, but I'm too scared of ruining it. So there is just gonna be some folding here, but that's fine. I think this is pretty much as good as it gets for this outfit. It's a little bit tighter than I originally wanted, especially with her wearing a shirt under it. But again, I'm pretty happy with it, so we're just gonna leave it for now. So for the hat, I got Courtney's hat from American Girl, and I painted it purple with fabric paint. And my idea for the hat was that I wanted to be able to decorate it to be themed to Big Comfy Couch, but I wanted it to be like a removable decoration so that if Jen wants to use this hat for an 80s outfit that I have planned to give her, that I bought, so I'm not really going to include it in the video, but I just want her to be able to use the hat for other things, so that's why I didn't want to make any permanent decorations on the hat. But I made some Shrinky Dinks, and I didn't really film it, but I made some Shrinky Dink charms, and then I attached those to a chain that I will show at the end, and basically it's kind of like a necklace for the hat that you can take on and off so that she can use it. So I really wanted to make a themed couch bag, and I had so many ideas for this that didn't end up working out. But basically, I made this drawing, and I thought I could make the couch out of fabric, and then that didn't work at all. So then I tried to make it out of polymer clay, and then I made a mold with the polymer clay, and then I tried to use melty plastic to make a plastic couch, but it didn't work. So then I ended up just painting the polymer clay couch, and then I bought a bag from Target, and then I just painted the bag and glued on the couch, which I didn't really film, but again, I will show it at the end. So I want to make a little Molly doll. So I decided that I wanted to make it out of felt. So I drew this really bad sketch, and then I cut out the pieces of felt and I hand sewed them, which was probably a bad idea, but this was just so tiny. These are her little feet. I don't know why I didn't use black thread, but I ended up painting the white thread so that it wouldn't be so bad. I had to use tweezers to stuff the legs. Her arms are so crooked. Like, her arms look so bad. Why is one so high? I don't know. I'm not super happy with this Molly doll, okay? But she's it's like, it gives her a homemade vibe, right? There's a homemade vibe. Yes, we're not gonna judge me on how badly her arms are aligned, but it's really funny. I made her head. Her head is not great. I had a lot of issues with her hair and trying to figure out how to do her hair. Then I decided to kind of make pattern pieces of the dress. I did this in a weird way, okay? I don't know what I was really doing. I was making it up as I went. Here is the finished Molly doll. I am pretty happy with her, I say, as her head is like barely sewn on. I probably need to fix that. But I think she looks fairly good. It's not like the best thing I've ever made in my life, but I think it looks like Molly. I think it's pretty cute. I like her little nose, and I could have done probably better with her hair. I had to add like basically like a patch kind of her hair, so there's like some glue in her hair. Yeah, I could have done better on this one, but I still think it's pretty cute. It looks like Molly. It's a small little doll for the doll. So yeah. So this is the finished look for the Big Comfy couch. I finished out the hat by making some little Shrinky Dink charms, and this is supposed to represent her clown nose. And then I basically put them on a chain, so you can actually take this off, so that Jen can use the hat for just to have as like a hat, so it's not Big Comfy couch themed, and she can use it for other stuff. She has her little Molly doll. I borrowed shoes from another outfit because the ones I had before were kind of falling apart. This is the bag that I made finished, and I didn't really film this because I've just been stressed. But I basically made a little couch and painted it to look like the big comfy couch. And then this is supposed to represent her blanket that she has. And I think it came out pretty cute. It's very heavy because this is made out of clay, but I think it came out really adorable. So yeah, so that's the finished outfit. When you buy a brand new American Girl doll, the outfit that she comes in is called her meet outfit because you're meeting the doll in that outfit. So we're going to make a meet outfit for Jen's doll. This is going to be the outfit that the doll is wearing. When I give it to her, it'll be her first impression, if you will, of the little Jen doll. So I was trying to rack my brain of what outfit this could be. Jen has a lot of interests, so I was trying to think like which one is her favorite. But then I realized that she has a video on her channel about one of her favorite dresses. She calls it her Miss Frizzle dress, which is adorable. It's a teal dress, which teal is her favorite color, also mine. And it has flowers on it. It has bees, which Jen loves bees. So I can see why it's her favorite dress. It is a very adorable dress. And she had a video where she made custom shoes to match the dress. So I kind of knew immediately that I wanted to recreate this dress and the matching shoes to go with it. I have decided that I'm going to make a teal dress from scratch. I have learned my lesson from not having a pattern for the big comfy couch outfit because that was kind of a nightmare. So this time we're going to use a pattern. I already found a pattern. God bless this woman. I'm going to link her page down below. Not only did she make an amazing pattern that was super easy to follow, but she has a YouTube channel and she made a great video. Spoiler alert, I already made the dress. I busted this thing out in like a few hours, maybe less. It was actually really fun and I was really proud of myself. So shout out to the woman that I don't remember her name, but I will shout out her down below in the description if you're looking for patterns. But basically, I'm going to turn this dress into her flower dress. And then I'm also going to make custom shoes, just like Jen made custom shoes for her real life dress. I'm very excited to make this for her. I hope it means a lot to her because I know it would mean a lot to me if someone did this for me. So I'm just hoping that she will love it. I'm also planning to make some themed accessories to go with the outfit, including bee themed jewelry. So yeah, that's the plan. So this is the finished dress and I am so happy with it. I honestly am just so jazzed. It came out exactly perfectly how I wanted it to. It was super easy to put together and I'm just really proud of it. And I'm really excited to paint it and I think it's going to be adorable. So my first test is going to be with fabric markers. So I got these ones because they have a decent amount of colors. Testing it out on the fabric, and right now they just kind of are acting like permanent markers. So I don't really know what the difference is. It's bleeding quite a bit, but I'm going to try these out a little bit more just to see if I can use these. So this was my test using just the markers, and the black marker is a little bit too thick. So then I was like, well, I have this like really nice pen. Let me try it. And I feel like it works really good. So we're just going to not get this dress wet, which I know you're not going to. But I think this looks fairly good and probably as close as I'm going to get without painting it. And I feel like painting it would take a lot longer than using the markers. So I think we're just going to go with this route. I'm not entirely happy with the color of the yellow, but I think we're going to have to concede on a little bit. Okay, so I started doing the pattern and I started on the back because I was scared of ruining the front, but we have all the little bees. You can still see some pencil marks. I'll erase those, but this is kind of the pattern that we're going to go with. I think it looks really cute. Of course it doesn't look exactly like the dress, but I think it looks pretty close. I showed my husband and he was actually very impressed and thought it looked even better than the actual dress, but I don't know about that. But it definitely does have more of like a watercolor quality to it. And obviously it's not quite as detailed as the actual dress, but I'm very happy with this. So now I just need to do it for the entire front, which is probably going to take me quite a bit of time. I want to say that this took me maybe an hour. So this whole thing's probably going to take a whole day. I'm not going to do it all in one day. I'll do it in chunks, but I'm pretty happy with it. The only thing I need is to add the color along the bottom. The color that I use for the inside of these little flowers here, this blue color, I'm going to use for the bottom because there's like a bottom ridge on the dress. I'm kind of scared about it bleeding because these markers bleed quite a bit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. Please excuse her hair because it's looking a little crazy, but here is the finished dress. I am super proud of how it came out. This took a really long time, but it was a labor of love, and I hope that Jen loves it as much as I do. I also just finished making the matching shoes, and honestly, the colors look so much better on the shoes than they do on the dress. But I think it came out really good. I'm really happy. So now the only things left are I want to make her a necklace and perhaps like a headband or a hair accessory. I kind of want to make a bag too to go with it, and then perhaps some earrings. My plan is to take little Jen here to the American Girl doll store to get her ears pierced so that I can make fun little earrings for all the outfits. Okay, so I got this Scotchgard Fabric Crafts water shield. It says that it waterproofs fabric. I basically want to spray the shoes and the dress with this just to make it a little bit more waterproof because I'm not worried about the fabric paint markers because I think that's pretty permanent. But I probably shouldn't have used just regular pen for the lines. And not that you're going to get these wet, Jen, but just in case, I don't want the pen to bleed everywhere. So we're just going to experiment with this. So I did a test piece of fabric with the same coloring method, and it seemed to work okay. So I sprayed the dress. I'm going to let it fully dry. Hopefully everything works out okay. It does kind of stink, but I figure if I let it sit outside long enough, it will be fine because I just kind of want to make sure that this lasts as long as possible. I don't think it'll be getting it wet, but just in case. So we'll see what happens. Okay, here is the finished meet outfit. I think she looks really adorable. I got some glasses. Now, I was trying to find glasses that match the ones that she wears, but it's kind of hard to find American Girl glasses, so I think these will have to do. But I really like them because they're black and they have a touch of teal in them, which I think is really cool. I made some little bee earrings. So there's bee earrings, a bee necklace, and then a bee ring, which I think is very, very cute. I also painted the bottom of the shoes yellow because that's what she did in her video. And then I made a little purse out of leather, and it's like a little bee purse. And then I made a hair clip that looks like one of the flowers on the dress. So this will be the very first outfit that Jen will see on the doll, and I hope she loves it. One of Jen's all-time favorite Disney movies, maybe her favorite Disney movie of all time actually, is a Goofy movie. So I obviously had to make a Goofy movie themed outfit for her doll. She is obsessed with Powerline, and she has a video where she found this like customizable bag. It's like a bag that has like an outside piece that you can snap on and off. And she has a video where she custom painted this bag to be Powerline themed, and she did an amazing job. But I'm gonna basically recreate this bag for her doll, which I think is gonna be really, really cool. Right now I'm planning to have a Powerline jacket. I'm probably gonna do a t-shirt that is themed to the Possum Park that they go to in the movie. I found like a cool little logo thing. So I'm gonna make a shirt with that. I'm not quite sure about the bottom yet. Possibly shorts or pants. I'm not really sure. I also am thinking about making a necklace of some sort. Perhaps the Hi Dad soup, because she's mentioned that before. In the movie, they eat like the alphabet soup, and he writes like Hi Dad with the noodles. Very cute. I also kind of want to incorporate Bigfoot in there somehow, and then we have to, of course, incorporate the Cheese Whiz.
It's the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
So we have a lot of elements to put into this outfit, but I'm most excited about the bag.
So basically what I did is I took a screenshot from her video of what she did, and then I basically put it into Photoshop, and I kind of resized it to be perfectly square, and then I added the bottom piece and then flipped it. So I basically recreated the bag so that I could print it off and use it as fabric. So I have this printable, it's like an iron-on, but the fabric, it's like almost like a fabric. I don't know how to describe it, but I found this leather sheet at the craft store, and I was super excited because I didn't know they sold leather sheets like this. And it was like $1 or something. And I was like, yes, this is perfect for a purse. So I ironed on the iron thing onto the leather, and it felt so good. Like it felt like I made vinyl. Like I don't know how to describe how cool this is, and I'm gonna talk about it later. Sorry. So I basically folded the bag and then took some extra pieces of leather to build up the sides. Then to make the straps, I actually used the elastic that I had from earlier when I was doing the restringing, and I just took a piece of the elastic and I wrapped it in the leather, and that was the strap. And then I added some little jump rings. Mind you, the jump rings are a little bit small, but we're working with what we have here. I put some leather pieces through the jump rings and then used that to glue it onto the bag.
So this is the finished Powerline bag. When I tell you that I am so proud of how this thing came out, like if Jen does not poop her pants, then I did something wrong here, because if someone made me a tiny replica of a craft that I made, I would die and I would probably poop my pants. So if she doesn't die and or poop her pants, then I don't know what I could have done differently. But I'm just really proud of myself. I will say that. It's not perfect, but I think it's as close to perfect as it could possibly be at this point. I am so impressed with this printable iron-on fabric. I've used many different types of iron-ons before, and this one is more like a patch, if you will. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not like other types of iron-ons where it's like really thin and it's almost like a temporary tattoo. This one's more like I just printed fabric essentially, but it's like this texture of vinyl, and it worked so perfect because it's almost like I made like custom printed vinyl. I'm just really, really happy with how it came out. I think it looks like her bag. I'm really happy with how the straps came out. I mean, you can see a little bit of glue here and there, but I mean, overall, I'm super happy with it. Obviously, it doesn't have a zipper. It's really tiny, so I don't know how I really would have done that. The feet are not accurate to her bag because her bag has metal feet, but I have these little gems, so I figured that they worked really well. And they just make the bag stand so great. I was having issues with the bag standing correctly, and I was kind of, you know, like, see, it'll fall over, but it's a little bit top heavy because of the handles. but for the most part, I think it stands pretty good. The badge, I'm really, really happy with. Now, sometimes with crafting, the first thing that you try isn't gonna work out, but then that just leads you to find something better. I was kind of frustrated the first time I made the little badge because I basically tried poking a hole in the badge and then putting a jump ring in it. It ripped, and I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? But then I had this bail, so I just put a bail on the back. And now, mind you, does it look exactly like her badge? No, but I think it looks much better, especially from the front. I think it looks really, really nice. And then I had this little gem, which actually kind of matches the bottom, so that's kind of cool. I didn't even mean to do that. But I had this little gem because she, in her video, has a little Powerline charm, but of course, I don't know if I could make one that tiny. Like, that's very tiny. But I think it works. And then I just happen to have some holographic transparency. It's basically holographic laminate, quote unquote. It's like a clear sheet. And I was like, oh yeah, literally completely forgot that I had it. Found it buried in my closet. But it was perfect for this because now it's like really cool and holographic looking. So I'm just so happy with how this came out, and I'm really, really excited to give it to her. I also put a jump ring on here, so like this like moves around. I mean, I'm just so happy with this. And also, a small detail is that the front of the bag has the little metal tag, and then the back doesn't. I actually photoshopped it out. It was supposed to be here. I actually photoshopped it out. You can kind of tell, actually, I didn't photoshop it out that great. I'm very pleased with myself, and I showed my husband, and he was very impressed as well. I'm very excited to give this to her. Now I just need to I want to make a Cheese Whiz can, and I'll probably put it in here. Maybe I'll put other stuff in here too. I don't really know, but I'm very happy with it myself. So I got this American Girl jacket secondhand. And as you can see, it is disgusting. It is shedding all of the paint. It is coming off in these little flakes. And I got this I bought a used doll wardrobe, and it had a bunch of clothes in it, and there were these flecks everywhere. And I was like, what is that? Come to find out, it was this jacket. So I put it in this baggie, and I've been trying to like contain the craziness, but literally this jacket was gold and all of the gold has come off. So my objective is going to be to not get this everywhere, first of all, but I'm basically going to try to repaint this jacket and reuse it, and perhaps put a pattern on the back of it. So we're gonna see if this works. So sometimes things don't work out the way that you think they're going to. And that's just part of the crafting process. It's part of the creative problem solving. We think something's going to work, and then we realize that it's probably not going to work. So I painted the jacket with fabric paint. I probably need to do a couple more coats, actually. It looks great. Like, I'm actually really impressed with the fabric paint. This feels exactly like fabric. I did have some splotching here on the inside. So the paint worked out great. The problem is that the more I was thinking about how I'm going to turn this into a Powerline jacket, the more I was like thinking that this isn't going to work. Also, I'm not like super obsessed with this color. Like, it's fine. But I was like, you know what? Maybe I just scrap this for now and get a white jacket and use that as like my base. So that is what I did. I bought a white jacket, and I'm very excited about this because now I can kind of just use this as a base. And right now, my plan is that I'm going to paint this very 90s. And I'm going to use the same picture as this and basically put it on the back of the jacket. I'm going to put Powerline on the top and then the design on the bottom. And then I'm going to paint the jacket to match those colors. So it will be very 90s, and I think it will look very, very cute. And then I might do some little iron-ons on here. Now, the beauty of me being a graphic designer is that I can actually Photoshop this to see what it will look like before I even do it. So I spent some time Photoshopping it
so I could get an idea. And I think it looks really cute. So if I can make it look like how I photoshopped it, then I think it will be very, very adorable. This did have an American Girl tag, but I cut it off because I know Jen had said in the past that she doesn't love the in-your-face American Girl tags. So anything I get, I'm going to cut the tag off of if I can. Also, as a side note, just as part of I'm just explaining my creative process here. Back when I was still thinking about using this jacket, I was like, okay, maybe I can't do the iron-on because this color is so dark and it'd be harder to do the iron-on stuff. So last time I went to Disneyland, I actually got Jen a bunch of pins because I saw them and I was like, why not? The problem is I don't think she really collects pins. I think I've asked her this before, and I think she said that she doesn't really have anywhere to put them. So I was thinking, what if I pin them to the jacket? But then the jacket would be kind of heavy, and I don't know about that. But what I'm thinking I might end up doing is they sell bags that have like the clear panel. They're called Ita bags. I have actually a couple videos on those bags. So I was thinking about just getting her a bag and making it Goofy Movie themed, and then just filling it with Goofy Movie themed pins. And that way she wouldn't have to worry about where to have them. And I think that would be really cool. So this is the bag that I ended up buying for the pins that I showed earlier. And what I wanted to do was fill in the space with some homemade buttons. I actually have a button machine from years and years ago, and it was really fun. I made her some custom pins from different things from the movie. I made the Hi Dad one from scratch from an image so that I could size it right. We have the little bobblehead, Powerline, and the Goofy Movie logo. So this is just a cute little extra bag that I'm going to give her that she can use for whatever she wants. So basically I'm a crazy person, and this is the file that I found on the internet. Now it's very vertical, so it's very like skinny and tall, and this wasn't going to fit very well on the jacket, which is kind of more of a landscape. This is more of a portrait. So what I opted to do, which is a little wild, is I decided to create the entire thing from scratch in Illustrator. So you'll notice that this is all completely drawn by me, each individual little piece. I wanted it to be the right size for the jacket, and then I also wanted all these little individual pieces that I could then put on like the front of the jacket, and then I needed to redo the power line because that's going to go on like the back top of the jacket. So I was a little crazy there and made this all completely from scratch so that it would be the exact right thing that I wanted. So this is what we have of the jacket. It's still not done, but I think it's really cute and 90s. So I added some little fun shapes to the front, and then this is the back. And I think it came out pretty good. Obviously, it's still showing some of the white, but I try to cut it down as much as possible. But I think it's pretty cute. I'm really happy with it. The only thing I have left to do is I want to make some iron-ons for the sleeves, and for that I'm going to use my Cricut machine, which I will have to break out, but I want to do like a Powerline logo on one side, and then I think I'm going to do the year on the other side. So I was trying to figure out a way to make the Hi Dad necklace, and I was racking my brain on how I would make the letters because they're so tiny. And lo and behold, I had the Alphabet Soup mini verse, which was absolutely perfect. So I made the cup out of clay, and then I had the letters, and then I even had the soup resin for the necklace. How perfect is that?
Okay, here is the finished Hi Dad necklace. I'm really happy with how it came out. There are a little bit of bubbles because what happened was I used the UV resin and then it looked fantastic. And then I basically messed it up because I wanted the letters to be shiny. So I was like, well, instead of using resin again, I'll just use a glaze, like gloss that I had. So I used that and then it like crackled and looked gross. Then I was like, well, maybe I could just put some triple thick on top of that. So then I did that. And then I forget why that didn't look good. And then I was like, well, why don't I just put nail polish? Clear nail polish over the top. So this has like 3 different layers of a clear coat. And between all those layers, some bubbles formed. But I think it's fine. It's not worth me redoing it. I still think it looks very, very cute. And I hope that Jen will love it.
So for the shoes, I knew that I wanted to paint them to match the jacket. So I found these white canvas slip-on shoes. And then I decided that I wanted to put Bigfoot on them. So this is kind of the Photoshop job that I did to see how I wanted it to look. I first tried using the fabric paint markers that I had from before, but they were a little dried out, I think because I used them so much. So I ended up using acrylic paint. Okay, this is what we have so far. She's wearing the Possum Park shirt, the Powerline jacket. She has on the Hi Dad necklace. I put a little iron-on her shorts, which I think came out really cute. I was actually very proud of myself and smart because I put triangles behind him purposefully so that it would be easier to cut out the transfer, because otherwise I would have had to cut out all his little teeny tiny, like his little ear and all of that. So I was very proud of myself for that idea. And then her little shoes, they came out pretty much exactly how I imagined them. I love the little Bigfoot on there. I'm very, very, very happy with this outfit. The only thing left to do, also she doesn't have her bag, the bag that I made, but she'll have the bag, and then I'm working on a possum hat. So we will see how that goes. For the possum hat, I got this faux fur, but as soon as I started cutting it, it got literally everywhere. So I got some new fur and made the little arms, the head, the tail, and then sewed that together.
Okay, I made this little cap thing and it looks really dumb, but it's gonna go on the inside. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Okay, here is the finished dead possum hat. I don't think it's perfect, and I'm not like the most proud of it compared to some of the other things that I've made for this doll, but I still think it's pretty cute. And while I think the proportions are kind of off, I did my best, and at least it fits better on her head now. The first version I made, it was kind of fitting like a yarmulke, and it wasn't on her head very well, but I think it fits on her head pretty well now. I think it's pretty cute. Hopefully, Jen recognizes it right away as from the movie. But yeah, I think it came out pretty good. Today, little Jen and I are going on a little adventure, and she's going to get her ears pierced. Okay, she got her ears pierced, and they have little stars, which matches her little dress that she's wearing. Cute. Okay, so I took little Jen to the American Girl doll store, and when I got there, the salon was closed, and this employee walked up and said, I hope you're not waiting for the salon because it's closed. It closed at 5 because we got there after 5. And I was like, oh crap, like, because I didn't know I needed to make like a reservation or whatnot. And she's like, well, what do you want done? And I was like, well, I just need to get her ears pierced. And she's like, oh, I can totally do that. And I was like, oh my God, thank you. And then I asked her if I could film it, film her piercing the ears. And she was like, no. And at first I thought she was being sarcastic because sometimes, you know, waiters or whatever tell you no and they're like, haha, just kidding. So I like thought she was joking, and then she's like, no, actually, like I can't take you back. Like it's done in the back and it's actually kind of horrific. And I was like, oh, because you have to like drill a hole. And she's like, yeah, it's actually like really awful. So yeah, they basically take the dolls back there and they take a Dremel and they basically drill a hole in their head, essentially 2 holes. So now she has 2 holes in her ear. And I showed the star earrings, which actually are really cool. Let me show you what they look like fully put together. So this is what the earring looks like, the post I showed earlier, and then there's like a dangle piece. Isn't that cute? I like it. Okay, here is the finished outfit. She has her possum hat. I made the earrings that Jen is wearing in her video for the doll as well. We have the Hi Dad necklace, we have the Possum Park shirt, the jacket, the shorts, and the shoes, and then her bag. Inside the bag, we have a Cheese Whiz that goes with him. Very, very happy with his outfit, and I hope she loves it. Okay, it is now June. I leave literally next week to go to Canada. I am in a rush to finish everything, including this video, before I leave. So the last thing I'm working on is a diner outfit. So Jen loves the 50s and she loves diners. She has a diner in her house, actually. She turned her kitchen into a diner. So I wanted to include 50s outfits, including a diner outfit. So I found this really cute Our Generation diner outfit. This was one of the first outfits that I got like way back in like January or February of this year. And I made a really cute little logo that I ironed onto the apron, but that was early on in my journey of making this doll. So the iron-on isn't great, but I still think the logo is really cute. Okay, so I have this diner outfit that I got that is Our Generation, and it had a tag on here and I ripped it off. And you can kind of see the holes, but that's okay. But basically I had this idea to make a logo that says Jen's Diner. So I went and I researched some logos and I basically recreated this Darling's Diner and made it into Jen's Diner, and I made it the same colors. And my idea is that I'm going to iron this onto the apron, and I'm very scared because when I did the ironing on the other outfit, the shirt, I didn't do so great, but I've learned now, so we're gonna try to iron this on and see what happens. Okay, this is how it came out. It's not perfect, but it's definitely much better than my last ironing on attempt. So I'm really happy with it. I think it looks adorable. I hope you love it, Jen, because I think it's so cute. So right now she's gonna have like a waitress outfit, and then I got like a 50s like poodle skirt outfit for her as well. Jen just happened to find an Our Generation diner, which is perfect. So I'm making her food to go with the diner. So this is some Our Generation food. Now, I am a little extra, and I think that this food is a little too monotone and a little too flat. So I'm going to attempt to add a little bit of shading just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I also need to find a burger and fries, because I feel like you can have a diner without burger and fries. And then I also have some shakes, so I will show everything when it's done. Okay, here is the food after I kind of zhuzhed it a little bit. So I added paint to the crust of the sandwich. I made the pickle have a different color for the other side. I made it shiny. And then I made the ketchup and the lemon slice a little bit shinier, added some color to the fish sticks. I added some resin to the syrup, and I textured the pancakes a little bit, and then I added some color to the meatballs, and I added a little sprinkle of Parmesan. So I think they look a lot better. Please ignore how gross my background is, by the way. This is just my workspace. But anyways, so me and my husband 3D printed a fry basket. This was the first one we did. It was way, way too tiny just for scale. Here's the burger I wanted to put in it.
So this was the first one we did. Then my husband doubled it. So then I went to this, which is gargantuan. Way too big. Okay, then we made all these different ones. Okay, so many different sizes. Just trying to get it exactly right. Finally, we settled on this guy, which is perfect. I printed this tissue paper myself. I made these cute little French fries. I also made this burger, which I'm very, very proud of, and I think is pretty adorable. And then I also made a little hot dog, which is super cute. I love it. And then I also made little menus using the logo. Waitress outfit came with roller skates, but they're meant for our generation, and the roller skates were too small. So I actually put them in boiling water and then put them on the American Girl foot to kind of mold it, and now they fit great. So very excited about that. So American Girl, I think, is very synonymous with the box that the dolls come in. They're very iconic boxes, and they've changed over the years. But they usually are like the classic American Girl burgundy color. And then they have their logo, which has also changed over the years. But there's usually stars involved and says American Girl. So I had this box, which is from the Care Center. And I basically wanted to turn it into a Canadian Girl box. So I designed a Canadian Girl logo, which basically mimics the American Girl logo, only has maple leaves instead of stars. And I basically converted this box into a Canadian Girl box. And I'm really, really happy with how it came out. I think it's really adorable. We have the maple leaf on the top, and then I made a little logo for Canadian Girl, and then it says Mini Jen on the front, and then there's little there's maple leaves everywhere. Please ignore all the bubbles. I used Cricut vinyl, and I did not put this on very well, but after spending a really long time on it, I was like, good enough, I think. It looks terrible, I'm sorry, but I'm really excited to put the doll in here for Jen. Okay, so I bought all these little shirts in different colors, and we're just gonna make some fun little shirts. I don't really have like a super plan for them. Besides, I just thought that they would be cute to have as like extra things. So far I have a Care Bear, so I need to decide what color shirt to put it on. And then I also have a Polly Pocket. I think that would be cute on the pink, actually. Ooh, or the purple. And then I have a Barbie. So I need to find some more things for the other shirts. I have completed the shirts now. So I did Barbie on the pink. I did the Care Bear on the teal one, and it looks very cute. I did Polly Pocket on the purple, which is precious. I love that one. Then we did Rainbow Bright on the blue. Super cute. And then I did a Popple on the yellow shirt, which I think is really cute. So now we just have a lot of extra shirts. So that is it for this very long video. If you watched the whole thing, thank you for supporting me. I really did have a blast making all of this for Jen, and I can't wait to give it to her. I will be posting a separate video of me giving it to her, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.